Why are you saying that out loud? Good afternoon. I was gonna. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I got in the other courtroom and I was on the other side.
Your other left prosecutor.
Yeah, I did that in Judge King's courtroom the other day. I like set all up on the prosecutor's table.
Well, the next courtroom I think over has.
Totally.
35
36 is like that, they reverse county.
We do that to keep you all on your feet,
Yes.
on your toes,
So I
actually.
was just like, where's the jury box? As far as
Right now, I mean, if I get a call when I was there, they can answer it. The first we did,
yes.
And then took the picture, so now that's done. So now we look like a real courthouse. They said prisoners. Mhm.
Okay.
MDOC Industries, they make a lot of stuff. They make some nice stuff
To
too.
me, the false pretenses charge, all of that conduct occurred in Chicago.
I don't know what we're waiting for.
Does she know where we're going?
I told her we were going, oh. She's not on anywhere. Yeah, she doesn't know we're
I'm
out.
gonna make you go through all the
Mary Ann
motions.
No, I don't think
This
so.
I can change to an RNC mobile and drop this if you will.
This one also would be then, because this is using the ID theft in order to obtain the motor vehicle. Like 3 is connected to 1.
Well,
Because then these other ones talk about the forging and the having the fake ones, right?
yeah.
But the
this-
specific conduct in this is about obtaining the motor vehicle.
Yeah, but then he's still going on using the motor vehicle rental of this guy's name in Michigan.
Right, but I would say the act of obtaining it, receiving, concealing, right, it's a completed, that whole act was completed.
It's not, I know, but identity theft, he's saying that he said he said he was under him, and then he was using.
Right, that's the name that.
He was utilizing the car under the name of Keith, which is a fake name in Michigan, that's the idea.
So I was talking to you this whole time. I was thinking you were on and ready.
Wait, I would drop this to RNC.
Are these trash?
Oh, no, they go back to Heather because she sticks them somewhere. I just picked them up and moved them.
See if we get a call in the next 10 seconds.
You're fine
About what?
because they clearly are not ready. They are not.
I had to get local labor value was obviously an issue.
I'm not sure why we schedule stuff at
Just receiving.
1 o'clock. At 1 o'clock is purely suggestive.
Okay.
Thank you. You're waiting for me? Oh, you're not waiting for me. I'm sitting here with an open file. No, they're not ready. They're talking. They keep talking.
I apologize, APA Gillis is just making me, an offer.
That you can't refuse.
I just need to speak with my client.
Absolutely.
And I'll be.
Take that up with the 130 people.
They should. I know. But the thing is, a lot of times is I know.
Okay.
I this thing because I can't see him and I know he's there. And we'll talk about
That
it.
same rental agency has a business here.
Correct. So it is.
I know. That is too good of a luncheon thing.
Right.
Would you rather I stand?
No.
But
No, I'm good. I was rude this morning. I wasn't trying to be rude. I just don't like last minute adjournments. I don't think it's fair to anybody involved. And then you can't complain that we're slow to schedule exams if you eat up my 6 exams, my 12 exams a month. I'm going to be irritated. And it's not hangry, it's disrespectful. And I understand things happen and things are beyond control, but
You're supposed
That
to
is relief.
obtain money from a personal property or the instrument, the car, for everything service. for
Yeah, they want me to
$1,000.
start a beer
And I asked him, he was.
are you rushing? Would you like to go?
truck.
Judge Oakley has his scheduled in 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Used a fake name.
We'll cross that bridge when we get
So
to it.
this is gonna get worse. Don't you think?
When we adjourn.
No,
I think that tomorrow I will look at my pile.
But
I'll
Dennis,
have
I
Marion
talked to
schedule
him, and he
R1 final
specifically told
pretrial,
me that
and we'll
charge
figure
over
out from
20,000
there that
charge
case
was
that he
over
says is going to
20,000.
go, and we'll get that month in the queue. And
Yeah,
depending
and
on how
then
it
he
goes, and
said
what Wayne County says and what
They, to
direction
get
we
the
get from
card,
SEO,
use the
we'll
state
drive
name,
what we do.
so that's why.
Because we don't- I don't make the
Cards
decisions.
were 20,000. I said,
I don't
ask him
think that,
about that, but I think.
we're gonna have to have it many.
You don't think what?
We're gonna have many.
Yeah.
Other courts are doing it.
No, what I mean is, I think, you know, they said there's 70 some,
Rental agencies.
35 of them are still gonna want.
You might be surprised.
This,
I mean, look at this building now versus 2 months ago.
Yeah, we know what
Change, I know.
state give you yesterday, for
Certainly had
example.
the RNC over 20,000.
Usual Tuesday, you know
And
how
everything else is gonna follow.
600 to 800 people.
Yeah, but
You know,
he's saying maybe
renting a
use,
vehicle.
he's saying maybe use the false
61.
pretense instead, like we were
And
thinking
that's
like.
an average.
It's
Zenith.
a higher.
Well, no, because he used.
I
used
don't
cards, but
think
we
that
don't
people know that
if
we're
there's
open because the courts are open and
Yeah,
open
not on
in
the card,
varying
no. And we
degrees,
know
even
that
within
well,
Wayne County.
We could
We're
never
open
get
because
some
we
kind of-
have-
Yeah, right. If he had
you know,
10
We have
cards,
decent numbers, we have smaller population, the way we have our docket spread out, we're
Yeah.
never gonna have that big rush anymore.
She's right that this.
We'll see what
occurred in
happens.
Chicago.
Yeah, no, I was.
Because that's what Dennis said, like, he goes, because he used that guy's name. to get the
Because
card,
they,
so that's
he had
false
already hung the
pretenses.
other two, and I don't want us to look like, this is not my courtroom, this is the people's courtroom, and when I'm not here, I want it to, all the courtrooms to look the same.
I could have just seen the RNC over 20,000 and then all the,
I put it up.
identifications, credit cards would have followed.
I think that's because it's a
His
good
record
computer
is-
year. It's supposed to go from North Pole right there.
I know, and that was my, and I made that clear that that was my preferred, but since I want us to be as uniform as possible. I want us, that's why I always say, well, what are they doing? Because I want us to
Let me
be,
tell you something.
consistent.
Use something good because that's the way it's 25.
I know, I watched them do it. Well, the lady that did the picture in my office, I want her to do a thing, and now that the seal is in here, I can get her to do a thing for this wall,
It's property crime. It's not, you know,
which she's already in the queue. I'm like, Miss
for the
Bowman,
most part.
I might need you.
Violent crimes.
She did a picture for, the jazz festival that's coming. She did their
I
poster.
know, he wants to hold, I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Well, the number one voting issue as is simply based on transaction.
Unless you get a call.
Unless I get a call, but even if I get a call, is it still the venue? Is that?
I even wore a suit today just for them.
And I'm not trying to do your job, I'm sure you've already.
Well, actually, I wore it for Brooks, but whatever.
If you go and get a call, you can get over 20,000.
Thanks a lot, Jamie.
Oh, no, I'm saying if you go and call.
Sounds good,
the
thanks.
agency,
Jamie, is that your name?
No, ma'am, I wasn't. No, that's okay.
I know the two last names is always confusing people.
Yeah, I've been down that road before too.
Yep.
Was that sufficient time with your client?
It was, yes.
Are you ready?
Yes, we're gonna hold.
Ms. Gillis, are you ready?
That's the card. There was a little discrepancy and I'm just, he's straightening it out. I was just gonna drop the charges, but now I'm not, so.
Are you ready? Ms. Gillis, if I have to ask you for a third time, if you're ready. As you walk away.
This new courthouse is so beautiful.
You are not helping her. Thank you very much, though. It's like my husband. I'm not talking to myself, but okay.
So like talking to your kids or something. You ready? Are you getting up? Are you going?
Your other right hand. This is 210517 FY. State of Michigan versus Brandon Reed. Appearances, please.
Jane Gillis on behalf of the people.
Neighborhood Defender Service by Kate DeMont Grady, P 83667, on behalf of Mr. Brandon Reed, who's with us in the courtroom. Mr. Reed, can you please state your name?
Thank you very much. Today is the date and time set for the preliminary examination in this matter. It would help if I would write it in the right file, probably. Mary Ann,
Yes.
I think I did it wrong. 210348 FY is the correct file number. I said it in the wrong file the first time. But it is actually properly the day and time set for the exam in this matter. There is an alleged offense date of February 12, 2021. There is count 1, false pretenses, $20,000 or more. Count 2, stolen property, receive and conceal, $20,000 or more. Count 3, identity theft. Count 4, driver's license, forging with intent to commit crime. Count 5, personal identifying information obtained, possess, transfer with intent. Count 6, personal identifying information obtained, possess, transfer with intent. Count 7, driver's license, forged, possessing 2 or more. I already have the parties' appearances. Before we begin this preliminary examination, Ms. Gillis, are there any preliminary matters?
Well, one, Your Honor, there is a person here who I think is with the defendant, and one, the children in the courtroom might be a distraction, to me at least. Secondly, I don't know if she's going to be a witness down the road, and that concerns me. Second thing is, I have my own officer in charge, Detective Mays, with me. He is also going to testify at the end of the exam. I'd like him to stay.
Your Honor, as to the OIC, I'd ask if he's going to testify that he be sequestered. And as to the kids, I'll leave that to Your Honor.
As to the OIC, he will be exempt from the sequestration order. He may remain in the courtroom. Anyone else who will be giving testimony in this matter, or potentially this matter, is going to be asked to leave the courtroom. And if they're viewing this matter as we're streaming live on YouTube, they're going to be asked to cease viewing the matter at this time. As for the person in the courtroom and the children, we are still relatively new in this building. Sound travels a little weird for my court reporter. What will happen is I will look to her from time to time, and if she's having trouble picking up or recording, I will ask the young woman and the children to leave the courtroom. And I understand it's hard when they're small, and we try to be mindful of that, but because of how the courtroom is configured, we sometimes have a little trouble between the witness stand and the microphones. Other than that, Ms. Gillis, anything else?
That's it, Your Honor.
Anything on behalf of the defendant?
Nothing for defense, thank you.
Terry.
Ms. Gillis, is this your first witness?
Your Honor, at this time, the people would call Corporal Carl Rubin to the stand. He needs to be sworn in.
Sir, do you swear from testimony you've given this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you very much. Did you have a seat? And I'm going to have you spell your first and your last name for the court reporter, please.
First name is Carl, C-A-R-L. Last name is Rubin, R-U-B-I-N.
Thank you. Ms. Gillis.
Okay, and then for the record, Your Honor, you indicated the date offense was 2/12/21. It says 2/12/21 through 4/25/21.
Okay.
I just, because he's going to testify to 4/25, so I didn't want it to sound weird.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. Can you tell me, Corporal Rubin, where were you employed on April 25th, 2021?
With the Wayne County Airport Police Department.
Okay, and were you working at approximately 11:45 a.m.?
I was.
Okay, and did you stop a car on that? Were you on, what type of job were you doing, like patrol or?
I was on patrol.
Okay, and did something catch your attention?
I was dispatched. We have a license plate recognition system in the airport, and dispatch advised me of a vehicle, a wanted vehicle that was stolen.
Objection, hearsay.
No, you can, that's just the nature. They didn't say what type of car, they didn't say what type of car, what they exactly said. The nature of the call considered in police business.
I would say it's implied hearsay. He's saying I was advised, and there's information that is included in that advisement.
Your objection's overruled.
Okay. And did you pull this car over?
I did.
Okay. And what type of car was it?
The vehicle was a Infinity.
Okay. And,
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm noticing the witness is looking at paperwork in front of him. Is that correct?
It's my police report.
And if we, I would just ask that if he needs to refresh it, that APA Gillis do that instead of just him reading off of his report.
Understood. Thank you, ma'am. I can't see that from here.
Okay.
So
Okay, so
appreciate
when
it. Thank
wanna
you.
Look at your report, just say, can I look at my report?
Okay.
And keep it turned over in the meantime. It's fine to look, then turn it back over and say what the answer
Okay.
in the future. So, did you do a check to see if this was the car you were actually looking for?
Did I do a check?
I mean, was this did you do a license plate check? Is that how you pulled this car over? Or how?
My probable cause when dispatch told me the license plate and the color of the car and the type of car, that was the car that I saw pass by me that I pulled over.
Okay, and then when you got, after you stopped the car, did you get out of your car?
Initially, no.
Okay, what did you do?
When I activated my overhead lights, the Mr. Reed had pulled over on the Goddard extension at the stop sign. Mr. Reed leaned out of his car window and started talking to me.
Okay, do you recall what Mr. Reed said?
He said that he was returning the rental car.
Okay, and then what happened next after that?
I directed Mr. Reed to turn right at the stop sign and pull his vehicle over.
Okay, you're gonna have to speak up a little bit because I can't hear you and I
Okay.
hear pretty well.
All right.
Okay, so did he pull over then to where you indicated?
He did.
Okay, and then did you approach the car?
I did.
Okay, and do you recall, you keep saying Mr. Reed, was this the person that you just said I'm returning the car, was that the driver of the car?
The driver.
Okay, and do you see that person in court today?
I do.
Okay, and can you tell me what he's wearing?
He's wearing a green t-shirt.
Okay, can the record reflect he's identified the defendant?
It will.
Okay, and and then what did you do next or after that?
I approached the vehicle.
Okay, and how, did you have a conversation with Mr. Reed?
May I refer to my report?
Yeah,
I have exactly
turn
what
it
I
back
did.
over.
Yes. Okay,
Did you have any conversation with him?
I did.
Okay, and what did you ask him?
I directed Mr. Reed to exit his vehicle and approach me due to it being a felony stop, and that is our procedure. So I directed him to come back towards me.
Okay, and was there another person in the car?
There was.
Okay, did you direct that person to get out also?
At that time, no.
Okay, and then did you call for some backup?
I did.
Okay, and did someone arrive to assist you with this stop?
Yes.
Who is that?
There was two officers, Corporal Richard Rosca and Officer Terry Herman.
Okay. Okay. Did Mr. Reed identify himself to you?
Yes.
Okay. Did he tell you his name? Did he give you a license, registration, or rental agreement, anything like that?
Can I refer to my report again?
Sure.
I can't remember. It's been a while since. Okay.
Okay. Did he identify himself?
At the time, I can't recall if he had verbally identified himself or if we had received it off of his driver's license.
I have no further questions.
Ma'am, thank you. Thank you, officer. You may step down. That chair's gotta go. Because they don't have wheels. And when somebody scoots them up, they'll bump them up and they went on the end. I'm gonna bring a ball. I'm gonna bring that rolly ball. Actually, could you stop right there at the podium and spell your first and your last name for me, please?
Terry, Terri, Harriman, Harriman.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you much. Now you can come up the ramp and have a seat in that chair, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gillis.
Okay, Officer Harriman, I'd like to draw your attention back to the date of April 25th, 2021. Were you working as Detroit Metro Airport police officer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and around 11:45 a.m., did you get a call for backup from an Officer Harriman?
From
Ruben, I'm sorry.
Yes, yes, from Corporal Ruben. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what was the nature of the call for backup?
It was an LPR hit, which is, and then they further stated that it was a stolen vehicle out of Chicago.
Okay,
Objection, hearsay, hearsay.
I'm sorry, communications.
okay. It's not hearsay because it's business record and it's just the nature of the call. She said specifically the words, and she's really not offering it to prove the truth of the matter.
The objection is overruled. Officer, what will happen is if the attorney say objection, you stop talking and I'll rule and then you can. Understood. No worries.
Okay, so, and this was in Wayne County Airport in Wayne County, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so then what did you do when you first got to the scene?
At that time, Corporal Ruben already had the driver in custody.
Okay,
And Corporal Ruben just asked me if I could impound the vehicle and do an inventory check, which is what I did.
okay, was there another person still in the vehicle?
There was a passenger, however, he was exiting as I was approaching.
Okay, and then did he just leave the scene, the passenger, or?
No, he was also handcuffed and placed in the rear of another vehicle.
Okay. So prior to, so you were gonna impound the car, is that correct?
Correct,
Okay, and prior to doing the impound, you do an inventory search, is that correct?
correct.
Okay, let's go through, and if you need your report to refresh your recollection, just feel free to use it, then turn it back over and answer the question.
Okay.
Okay, so where did you start when you did the inventory search?
I normally start on the driver's side.
Okay, is that where you started?
Yes, that's where I
Okay.
started, and then cleared the front seats before going to the back seats. And in the back seat, there was a black and gold backpack.
Okay, and did you ascertain who that black and gold backpack belonged to?
Yes, it was the defendant.
Okay, and how did you know it was the defendant's?
We asked.
You asked?
Yes.
Okay, and you asked,
Well, first I asked his passenger, who stated it was not his. And then I asked him and he stated it was.
Ma'am,
okay,
I'm sorry.
I'm just hearsay, he's talking about something that the passenger said.
okay. Well, they can strike that. I'm just gonna ask, did you, okay, let me just start. Can you identify the defendant, please?
Yes, it's the gentleman sitting there with the green shirt.
Okay, the record reflect that she's identified the defendant. Okay, and did you speak to the defendant regarding this backpack?
Yes,
And what did he say regarding ownership?
he stated it was his bag.
Okay, and then did you take the backpack out as part of your inventory search?
Yes,
Okay, and did you inventory the contents of the backpack?
yes, ma'am. There was several Apple iPhones, as well as 3 Michigan IDs.
3 Michigan IDs.
Correct.
Were these IDs of Mr. Reed, or were they IDs of somebody else, or were they a mixture, or,
No, they all had his picture on it,
okay?
and all of them had different names and addresses.
Okay, and do you have those different names and addresses?
I don't off the top of my head, no.
Okay, but there was 3 licenses that had different names than his.
Yes,
Okay, and what else, if anything, was in there?
If I recall, it was just the cell phones and the IDs.
Okay. Okay. Can you look at your report and tell me, was there anything else you found besides the 3 driver's license?
According to my report, that'd be negative, ma'am.
Okay. Did you do a further search later when you got back to the station regarding that backpack?
No, that backpack was turned over to Corporal Rubin.
Okay. Can I have one moment?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, Mr. Kearney. How are you, sir? Good. It's been a while.
I have no further questions at this time. Oh, wait, I do have some other questions. Did you continue the inventory search of the car?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, did you find anything else in the car?
I did not know.
Okay.
Good afternoon, is it Officer Morgan?
Yes,
So you performed the inventory search, correct?
correct.
And as part of that inventory search, you went through and documented the objects you found in the car.
Correct.
And did you fill out an inventory form?
That was on the tow sheet.
So yes, you did fill out an inventory form, correct?
It's on the tow sheet, yes.
Okay. And on that form, you itemized each piece of property that you've spoken about today.
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at it. I'm not sure that I did.
Nothing further. Actually, sorry, one more question. You were wearing a body camera that day, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you spoke to Mr. Reed about whose backpack that was, that body cam was active.
Yes, it was.
So that body cam would have captured that conversation.
Yes, it would have.
Thank you.
Any redirect?
No, I have no further questions of this witness.
Thank you very much. May step down.
I may have to recall Officer.
Mr. Kearney, you have a scheduling conflict? What do you have scheduled downtown? So are you looking for an adjournment now, or are you hoping that we wrap up here soon?
I was hoping, well, I was hoping we'd get to at least a complainant in my case, so that we could let the complainant go to the complainant and come back another day, but it may be these have made, it takes about an hour.
No, it doesn't take an hour, does it?
I'm going to recall Officer Rubin.
Do you want to, thank you. Do you want to find out from Heather a date? I think we're into November. You remain under oath, Corporal. If you want to reapproach and have a seat in the witness chair, please.
He would have to say, I think it's in his portion, so that he's- What?
Yes, sir.
It doesn't, he listed it a lot in the body of the-
Versus just being a little late for Detroit.
Is this his report?
Yes, so that's what.
Does he have that?
Oh, you should, yeah.
Yeah, you have your whole report, right?
Sorry.
You have your whole report on you?
Yes.
Okay, you're still under oath, officer. I have a couple more questions. To ask you, when you went back to the, after the car was towed, did you go back to the station?
I did.
Okay, and did you help with placing the stuff in evidence?
I did.
Okay, and did you research the backpack that Officer Ruger had obtained?
Officer Harriman?
I'm sorry, Officer Harriman. I keep getting you guys mixed up. I'm sorry, did you research
Yes, ma'am, I
it?
did.
Okay, do you recall what you found?
Everything that I found, I inventoried it and I put in my report.
Okay, if you want to refresh your recollection and look at that report, you may, and then when you're done, let us know.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Have you reviewed the property section of your report and all your report?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell me if you found, what you found, if anything, in the backpack when you were reviewing it before you put it into evidence?
There were various driver's licenses with different names, but with Mr. Reed's picture on them. There were credit cards under various names, bank cards.
Were they Mr. Reed's names or other people's names?
I didn't list if it was his names in my initial report. I just take the card and put it as a credit card. I'll list the number that I find, how many there are,
Okay,
and then that's, I believe, the procedure if the DB would go through it more thoroughly, but I'll just take the initial property as a,
so you're indicating the Detective Bureau would go through it more thoroughly?
I believe they would, yes.
Okay, so if you can recall from reviewing your report, you said there was credit cards. How many? Do you recall?
I believe there were 6.
Okay. Okay. I have no further questions.
Nothing from defense, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, Corporal Rubin. You may step down. Your next witness, Ms. Gillis.
Detective Mays.
Good afternoon, sir. Please, first and last name spelled.
Joseph Nace, detective with the airport police.
Do you swear affirm testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you much. Come up to the witness stand, have a seat, please.
Okay, can you state your name for the record?
Joseph Nace,
And are you the officer in charge in the case of People versus Brandon Reed?
I am.
Okay, as officer in charge, what was the first thing you did when you were assigned this case?
I read the initial reports that were written by the officers, and I also conducted checks on the credit cards that were in possession of the defendant. Excuse me.
Okay, and did you check the credit cards that were in his, that were in the property?
I checked all credit cards that would have been in his property / possession.
Okay, and do you use a machine?
Yes, well, we use a machine. It's a kind of a combination of a machine / software. It is called ERAD, which stands for Electronic Recovery and Access to Data. And what that does is it gives us information as to who the cardholder is, the institution that's attached to it, any balance, and it gives us a couple other options as far as freezing balances or freezing funds on that particular card.
And what did you find out regarding these?
Most of them, well, actually, all credit cards were in other people's names, not in Mr. Reed's name. One of them had a balance, I believe, of $8, either 11 cents or 13 cents. The other cards had no balance at all.
Okay. Did you check to see if these were like stolen or real cards, or did the machine check that?
We did. It does not show that it's actually stolen.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, objection as to we.
Okay, I can clarify that if you'd like.
Okay, say aye.
Okay.
Okay, what did you do?
Okay, so I checked. Would you repeat the last question, please? I apologize. Where were we at?
So,
You asked about the credit card balance, but
yeah,
anything
you
further?
checked the credit cards, and did you check, what does this machine determine? Does it determine if they're stolen or they're fake or they're?
It will sometimes indicate that whether or not the credit card is cloned or stolen. It did not indicate that the credit cards were cloned or stolen. It just indicated.
And Your Honor, objection is to hearsay. I don't have any of these reports of what this ERAD machine spit out. I have no way to understand like its process, or it's telling us things that are being offered here.
It's right in the reports that you have in your hands, right there. It's an ERAD machine, and it's
Which page?
go right to the investigator's report.
Is there something in the report that refers to that
If you could
information?
direct me to that page, because I don't see that. That's his report, but that's not anything from the ERAD machine.
Well, doesn't spit out a report.
Does it? We don't know that.
Do we spit out a report?
It does. It actually takes. You actually take a photocopy of the actual. You hold it up to a camera, and so essentially.
I'm sorry, you hold what up to? a
The
camera?
credit card itself.
Thank you.
To a camera, my apologies. And so based on that information, it reads that information. So you are essentially taking a photo of the credit card, and it does give a report. I don't know if that was actually contained in the packet itself or not. I could certainly go through my 200 pages in this packet and see if I do actually have that particular report. I know that'd be introduced right now, of course, but that I can certainly check that.
I don't have them in my discovery.
Well, what's spit out from the machine, she wouldn't have in her discovery. He just summarized it in his report, everything. So,
Right, which I'm arguing is hearsay.
I know, it's something he conducted as what results of his investigation during his police work.
So, Detective, you're saying you don't have this, what was spit out, or you might have it?
I might have it. Again, I have a lot of paperwork here, but I conducted this, so I know that I can testify to that it was actually done.
And are the results of the card reader in the discovery materials you received, even though you don't have the report, is the information in there somewhere?
I have a summary that it says, that he said of what the report says, that it's fraudulent, but
I also, Your Honor, I don't think that something that comes from a machine is hearsay. It's not a person or something that someone said.
there's information that's being put in, the machine's not just spontaneously generating information, you're putting information in your machine that's then giving you information back, and then you're interpreting what that says to then file a report.
Your objection is going to be overruled.
Okay.
That's it? Okay.
You know what, I'm gonna go about this a different way. Let's go through the different things you found. Let's go through, did you review the driver's license that were in there?
I did.
Okay, can you tell me the name on the first driver's
I
license?
refer to my report, and it's, there's several pieces.
You can refer to your report.
Thank you. So the identifications, there were 4 identifications, 2 of which were the same name, Michael Scott Heath, one in Brandon Michael Rice, and one in Wesley Thomas Miller.
Okay, let's start with Wesley, let's start with Brandon Reese. That's at the top of my page. On that particular driver's license, we already had testimony that it was his pictures and Mr. Rice's name.
Correct.
Did you spoke with Mr. Rice?
Correct, yes.
And did he say he gave anyone permission to use his identity?
He did say, he indicated that he did not give anybody, meaning he provided that information.
Okay, and was there any credit card in Mr. Rice's name?
If I may refer to my report, once again, it's a little
Sure.
lengthy, so I may refer often if that's okay.
Okay,
I have 2 fraudulent transactions. Actually, I take that back. And Mr. Rice was Social Security card.
so 2 licenses in Mr. Rice's name and Mr. Rice's social security card.
1 license in Mr. Rice's name and 1 Social Security card in Mr. Rice's name.
Okay. And what was the second name you said that he had a photo ID?
That would be
of?
Wesley Thomas Miller.
Okay, and was there a record for a Wesley Thomas Miller?
It does show that he exists.
Yes.
It does.
And did he give permission for him to have his license?
He did not give permission.
Okay, what was how many license or IDs did he have a Wesley Thomas Miller?
Just 1 on the identification for Mr. Miller.
Okay. Did he have an FTD?
Just 1 as well.
In Wesley Thomas Miller's?
Correct.
Okay, and was there a third name?
The third name, yes, Michael Scott Heath.
Okay, and did you speak with him?
Yes,
Did he give permission for anyone to use?
he did not give
identification?
permission for anybody to use his credit card or ID or the like.
Okay, and there was did you say there's a financial transaction device of Michael Heath's, correct?
Correct, there was 1.
And he did not give anyone permission to have that?
Correct.
It was stolen or just fake?
Well, it was what we would refer to as fraudulent.
Fraud.
I suspected none of these, to clarify, were actually reported stolen, just based on the fact that none of them indicated that they had lost their credit card. So how it was obtained obviously is kind of an important question.
Okay. Okay, now, did you have an opportunity to interview Mr. Reed?
I did.
Okay, when you interviewed him, how do you do that? Do you go have advice of rights, or do you read it to him? Do you have initial him?
We do the Miranda form. We read it off the form that is provided. We also have him sign it, date it, time it, and ask the person being interviewed to review it themselves and initial next to each right saying that they understand their lights.
And did he agree to talk to you?
He did.
Okay. And did you make sure before you interviewed him, did he seem like sober?
He did.
Okay. And was he deprived of anything like food or water or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Just briefly, prior to going through the Miranda form, Mr. Reed asked you if you needed a lawyer, correct?
Mr. Reed asked me if he needed a lawyer, not to my recollection.
Okay. And the interrogation was recorded, correct?
It was.
And when would you have started that recording?
It automatically starts when somebody walks in the room, so it's an automatic system, which are attached to lights. So anytime that light comes on, it's being recorded. And of course, it's on a loop.
Nothing further.
Okay. And so when you spoke to Mr. Reed, did you question him regarding these driver's license?
I did.
And what did he indicate to you?
Well, actually going off from what I recollect, and of course I can delve into the actual interview portion of my report, he indicated that he was hard up for money, had recently been out of jail, and conducted a Google search as to how to make money.
Okay. And did you ask him about the car?
I did.
Okay. Did you ask him whether he knew it was stolen?
He indicated, again, to my knowledge, that he actually rented it in somebody else's name, but I believe that he didn't indicate that he knew it was stolen or not. He may not have known that it had been reported as stolen.
Okay. And did he know this person whose name he?
Initially, he stated that he did.
Okay. And then later on?
He didn't actually recant that statement. However, based on what he had told me, there was obviously a contradiction in what he had said regarding his friend renting and that.
Okay. And actually, what name did he use to rent the car?
Actually, may I refer to my report, please?
Sure.
He indicated that he used Michael Heath's name.
Okay. And that's one of the fake licenses that you spoke with that didn't give him permission, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So, did you ask him about the credit cards?
I did.
And what did he indicate to you how he came up with the credit card?
Well, his story, and again, it was a relatively short statement, but he had indicated that because he needed money, he conducted a Google search and he received, and I put in quotations, a packet. And this packet includes various identifications, whether it be the actual identification of somebody, a credit card, and or social security cards.
Okay. And the packet that was in Michael Heath's name, who he rented the car under? Was the packet a packet of identification of a?
May I refer to my report, please?
Sure.
So he did not indicate that, he only indicated that he used Michael Heath's name. That's all I have.
Okay.
That's all I recollect, and that's all my report reflects.
Okay. And then, who was the car rented? Who was the rental agency?
It falls under the umbrella of what's called EAN, which is three companies, Enterprise, Alamo, National.
Okay. And that company is located here at the Wayne County Metro Airport?
They do have EAN
Here and
here
everywhere else?
and I
Everywhere.
suspect certainly nationwide, and I'm sure more countries as well.
Okay, and did you speak with someone from EAN regarding the value of this car?
I did.
Okay, who's the person you spoke with?
Her name is Kristen Campbell. She is a manager, fleet
Okay.
manager.
And can you tell me, what did she indicate the value of this car was?
So I provided the information to her, which is the vehicle itself, Infiniti QX80, and the stock on that, being the stock vehicle, the value is $69,150.
Okay. Okay, I have no other questions at this time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Reed told you he rented the car, correct?
Correct,
And he told you he rented it in Chicago,
correct,
and it was at O'Hare Airport, correct?
correct.
And you testified that you spoke to the different people who were listed on the credit cards, correct?
That is correct.
And who is Detective Carmona?
He is one of the other detectives in our office.
So, did Detective Carmona also speak with?
He
those
did,
people?
he did.
And did you call them before or after?
We would have, before or after.
He spoke with them.
The correspondence I have are via email,
Okay,
and the ones he had are over the phone. That he did, I should say.
thank you. Nothing else.
Any redirect, Ms. Gillis?
I just want to verify again. I know you had one of Wesley Keith's credit cards, and all the rest of the credit cards that you said you had, were those just the typical, like the number on the front doesn't match the number on the back, or?
Well, there's several variations as to how we determine that they're fraudulent. If I may refer to my report, I can go through it, and it might be a little, I don't want to take up too much time and being too lengthy here, but there are numerous things. So if you, for clarification purposes, which one would you like me to refer to?
Not the one that was at Wesley Keith's, because we already know that.
We have Wesley Thomas Miller, Brandon Michael Rice, and Michael Scott Heath.
Okay, and he had credit cards in all their names?
Except the the Brandon Rice, that was just fraudulent ID.
Just a fraud?
So whichever one on the
So it
FTDs.
was 3 fraudulent credit cards or 6?
That would be 2 fraudulent credit cards, according to my report here.
Okay, 2 fraudulent credit cards. Okay,
4 fraudulent IDs, 2 of which were the same, and 2 fraudulently obtained social security cards.
okay.
I know, I apologize if clarifications.
I have no further questions.
Just briefly, what date did Mr. Reed rent the rental car in Chicago?
May I refer to my report, please? Thank you. I believe February 12th, but if I get one more second, I will have that definitively.
I believe I've located it, and yes. Would you?
February 12th, okay, yeah, I apologize. I'm looking at one thing. This is February 26th, but
No worries.
that was also the date of theft or entered as. So my apologies for the delay.
And do you know when it was due back?
I do not.
Nothing further.
Had it been reported stolen by this time?
Yes, it had, because-
Looking at what I saw, February 26th, I think that's essentially, and I'm not going to speak for anybody in Chicago, but how it's done here in this area. Of course, it would be entered in once they realize that, sorry, I don't want to,
Objection, that's a speculation.
that's fine. That is
That's fine.
speculation, that's fine.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Step
thank you.
down. Your next witness, Ms. Gillis.
I have no further witnesses, Your Honor.
No
Mr.
witnesses,
Moncrief,
Your Honor.
thank you.
I apologize.
Argument?
I'm going to go over this slowly. Starting at the bottom of the information, the most obvious. Count 7, possessing 2 or more altered, counterfeit, forged, or duplicated operator or chauffeur's license. He had 2 or more fake licenses. They were his picture, somebody else's name. Then he had 2 personal identifying information, count 5 and 6, He had again, the license of, license, social security card, and credit cards in the names of Wesley Miller and Michael Heath. So that's for 5 and 6. Count 4, driver's license forgery. He actually did it a couple times. That person who charged the warrant only did it one time. And then identity theft. We have multiple instances of identity theft throughout this case. Stolen property, he was receiving and concealing a motor vehicle. He said that he rented it someone else's name, didn't know the person's name, didn't have his permission, and the car was worth over $20,000, so it's RNC over 20,000. And the false pretenses, 20 to 50,000, goes to the having the car to be obtained on false pretenses and utilizing it in Michigan to carry all the fake stuff of the person's name he rented it in. I think he said he was returning it here in Michigan. Forgot in Chicago, but he's returning it here in Michigan. That's why we have the long date of the information. I would ask that I have time to rebut. And ask to be bound over on those counts.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, defense objects to the bind over as to count 1, false pretenses. All of those acts were committed in Chicago at Chicago O'Hare Airport. False pretenses is not a he continued to have the car. It is a did he hold something out and have that person rely who rented him that car, and then did they rent that car and did they suffer a harm? And here, Enterprise is the one that suffered the harm in Chicago, and that transaction, that interaction happened in Chicago, outside of the jurisdiction of the state of Michigan. So we object to the bind over on count 1. As to count 2, you heard OIC Nyes testify that Mr. Reed didn't know that the rental car was reported stolen. And finally, as to count 3, the identity theft. This count is specifically going to using Michael Heath's information to obtain that rental car, right? And that again happened in Chicago. It did not happen in the state of Michigan, where he actually used Michael Heath's information in order to obtain that rental car. That's not something that happened within the borders of Michigan or close to the borders of Michigan. That's all happened in Illinois. So for those reasons, I would object to bind over on all counts, but specifically on counts 1 and 3.
Your Honor, as to count 3, identity theft. Identity theft, every time he had a credit card that wasn't in his name, it can be identity theft. Every time he has a driver's license in his name, holding someone's social security card can be identity theft. So we can just change it to whichever one you want. It can be a driver's license of Michael Heath. And as to that, and as to count 2, he was possessing it here in Michigan, the RNC, the motor vehicle worth over 20,000. And as to count 1, did start in Chicago. What's it called? Enterprise, Alamo, and National are nationwide companies. He was driving it here with all sorts of fraudulent stuff in his car, and he said to the officer, "I'm returning it here in Michigan." So I would ask that it be bound over on all the counts.
The court has listened to the testimony this afternoon, and Mr. Reed will be bound over on all counts as charged. His next appearance date will be the arraignment on the information down at the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice. The date that we're using is September the 1st, 2021 at 9 a.m. His previously entered bond with any conditions will continue. Mr. McGrady, I'm not sure if you are aware, Mr. Reed has 2 other matters in this court, 2 outstanding warrants. Were you aware that those matters were going to be subject to arraignment this afternoon?
Your Honor, I had looked at the register of actions and had noticed that. So yes, I became aware of it through that.
Thank you. We have 210516 FY, State of Michigan versus Brandon Reed. And 210517, State of Michigan versus Brandon Reed. For purposes of arraignment, Mr. McGrady.
Your Honor, we waive formal reading of the warrant and stand mute on both cases.
And for purposes of bond,
Your Honor, we'd be asking for a personal bond. As you can see, Mr. Reed has made his way all the way here from Battle Creek with his family. He has retained counsel. These are, from my looking at the register of actions, these are all nonviolent offenses. I do not believe and they're also, I believe both of those cases are from 2018. Therefore, I don't believe Mr. Reed does not pose a flight risk or a danger to the community, and we'd be asking for a personal bond.
Ms. Gillis, any comment on bond in this matter?
No, Your Honor, I think I'm pretty familiar with his background. Let me, he is a habitual fourth and third, I should say, and his background is all fraud, some type of fraud or larceny, it seems like. So maybe his bond should be at a little higher, so maybe he can stop the harm to the community.
Mr. McGrady, any additional comment?
Just to say that Mr. Reed, as a father, you'll see his children are here in the courtroom. His partner is here as well. He plays an important role in their life. He also has medical conditions. The last time he was held in Wayne County Jail, he was not receiving proper medical care. He has wounds on his leg that need adequate care. It's COVID. For all of these reasons, I would respectfully request Your Honor issue a personal bond. Again, these are 2018 cases. Yes, there is this current case, but it's not like he's been picking up the case. I have some clients who pick up cases quite frequently, one a month or so. This is not what we're dealing with, and he's invested in dealing with these cases, so I would ask for a personal bond.
Court's going to set bond in each of these matters at $20,000, 10%. The next appearance date in both matters will be PCCs on September 1st, 2021 at 10:15 a.m. with Judge Oakley. Those matters will be conducted by Zoom. Anything else, Ms. Gillis?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. McGrady?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. We're all set.
Your Honor. Oh,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
There's an exam that's scheduled to.
On which one?
Lasha. Forum. Did I say it right? I just thought we could.
On which?
Lasha Forum, is it scheduled for an exam? You don't have it?
I have Mr. Kearney's Tauschek, Quorum, and Blake.
It's Quorum. Quorum.
Oh, I thought you were saying something different.
No, Lasha Forum. and that
Oh,
exam is
I thought you were
James
saying it one.
Parker. No, James Parker, that's his exam, he's here, it's 2:25, it was supposed to be at 2, the victim's not here, we kind of don't anticipate. And see, the defendant's not here.
Oh, these are the findings.
Parker can come in.
Thank you.
Kevin, come in. I can't.
I don't heard he is a cop.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Do I need to write something?
No, we just need to.
That's
have you
fine.
okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
Did Mr. Kearney leave is my concern. I don't even know why I put on the dress and I have a microphone when I keep asking. Is Mr. Kearney here? Good afternoon, Mr. Parker. I can just keep randomly screaming out stuff because nobody's going to respond. If you're ready on quorum. I was looking for the 130 case. Towshack. I can't.
Your Honor, he wants, sorry, he wants to pursue the case.
I understand, and I want to be 5'8". That's not going to happen today either. No, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but Mr. Kearney is trying to go somewhere, and I'm trying not to have him leave if I can help it.
I don't think he heard you, that's why I was trying to help.
No, I understand, I respect that, but I've asked 4 times now where Mr. Kearney was, and nobody acknowledged that I was speaking, which is kind of unsettling to me sometimes. Mr. Kearney, hi.
How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I'm sorry that we weren't able to accomplish this.
No, such is life. You have 2 things, actually. 210320 FY. Oh.
Sorry, Judge. Yes, for Ms. Bonacera, the other, and this case is Toshak.
Correct.
So for Ms. Bonacera, I have no representations regarding the show cause. Unless we're addressing Mr. Toshak's case.
I was calling Mr. Toshak's case, which, I did my best. I prepped. It took my little 10 minutes. I thought I was doing something. This is Michael Toshak. Ms. Gillis, I was calling the case because Mr. Kearney has some other matter to attend to. 210320 FY, Michael Toshak.
Your Honor, Jane Gillis on behalf of the people, while the victim in this case arrived while I was doing that last exam, I'd like 5 minutes to talk to him, probably 3 minutes at the most. But I think Mr. Kearney also has, do we do this Bonsara case? Yes?
Ms. Bonacera, yeah, we also have that as well.
I'm going to do that right after we do this, but unless Bonacera makes more sense to go first.
It doesn't, Judge, since I'm asking for an adjournment.
It doesn't really matter. Can I just talk to this guy for like 3 minutes?
Do you object to an adjournment in Bonacera?
Were they here today on the?
They were on this morning's docket, scheduled for 9 o'clock to be arraigned. And they have a couple of failures to appear before. And I received a chat during the course of this morning's docket that Mr. Kearney indicated to, I believe, Heather, that he would address it this afternoon.
Well, they've had cases before. No, I would object to an adjournment. I'd ask for a bench warrant.
210531 FY, State of Michigan versus Angelina Hope Bonacera. This most recent conversation was about Ms. Bonacera's failure to appear for the arraignment scheduled for this morning. Thought we could possibly adjourn it. Prosecutor indicates she objects. In reviewing the file, it appears that Ms. Bonacera has failed to appear previously. Mr. Kearney.
Judge, I would object to any bench warrant being issued in this case. This is a case that was reissued. This is a 2018 drug case that's initially dismissed for witnesses' failure to appear at the preliminary examination. Police officer witnesses' failure to appear at the preliminary examination. The case was reissued, and as far, I have not been able to get a hold of Ms. Bonacera with the previous contact information we had from the earlier case. I asked, I think it was Judge Oakley previously, if there was if a certified notice had been sent to Ms. Bonacera's address, as whether or not it was a good address. I sent a letter to the address myself to try to get Ms. Bonacera to get a hold of me, but all of those have been unsuccessful. Obviously, due process, we're going to issue a bench warrant. Notice is one component of that. I don't think the court has been valid if Ms. Bonacera had noticed this hearing. I certainly will not even provide it to her.
Okay.
So you're saying that between July 14, 2021, when you appear with Judge Oakley and Prosecutor Curry, that you have had no communication with your client?
That's correct. I have made attempts to reach out to her. I would say that at the previous preliminary examination, Ms. Bonacera did appear. And that was when the case was dismissed. It's not as though she has made it.
She has not appeared in 2021.
No, the prelim was also in 2021 as well.
Oh, relatively young case.
Yes, well,
Okay.
insofar as it's not 3 years old.
That case, the officers did appear, Your Honor, it was dismissed because we had not gotten digital to him. But now I see in our file that digital was given to the defense counsel. So as soon as she shows up, we're ready to go.
Respectfully, Mr. Kearney, the court is going to keep Ms. Bonacera between July 14, 2021, when this matter was with Judge Oakley. There was a July 21st, 2001 opportunity for Ms. Bonacera to present herself to the court. She did not. She did not present herself this morning. And if your office is able to get a hold of her, I'd appreciate it. We can have the matter rescheduled. Thank you. Ma'am, do you want to step out and talk to your victim?
I think Ms. Gillis might be under the impression that we're about to have an exam.
Really?
Because that's why she said she wanted 5 minutes of a complaint.
But 5 minutes might be, I don't want to go forward anymore, and I understand that you have to be downtown. Downtown being 36th district, or?
That's correct.
So 36 is higher than 34?
No, I just am ordered by 2 judges to be in 2 places at relatively the same time. I maybe was optimistic in thinking that.
We start every morning optimistic, Mr. Kearney.
Usually, every single, well, if the court would call, other times we've had exams, but we've been here with Your Honor, it's just been only us, and I guess things are ramping back up again.
We're trying. We're trying to address the backlog of live exams. And when our 6 becomes 4, it sounds like it'll still be smooth running, and it has not been that way this afternoon, Mary Ann, for some reason. November 3rd? Is that the date?
Understanding that this isn't Mr. Toshak's fault, as if anyone, it's my fault for not seeking an adjournment of one or the other. Is there any earlier time?
We assess no blame.
Well, I understand, but
I'll give you a hard time and I'll wag my finger and then I'll tell Mr. Toshak it was the court's fault.
Mr. Toshak just asked me to try to get the earliest date possible.
That is the quickest date,
Maybe
unfortunately.
maybe we'll get lucky and complain.
I'm not sure if you want, Robert, I'm not sure if you want to let Ms. Gillis know that that is kind of the direction we're going in an adjournment. Thank you.
Sorry for the mix up earlier.
No, listen, no, I know. I know. No, you're fine. You know what happens. 20 minutes late on the first one and it just goes all off the rails. It's like milk drunk kittens.
It's especially difficult to plan because some days you have all cases get dismissed, no one shows up, and other days no one shows up.
Well, I guess here's my thing. And here's my kind of question. If you said exam takes an hour and this was scheduled for 1:30, you wouldn't be done until right now anyway.
Right.
So you're going to be late for 36 in any event.
I mean, I'm about 2 seconds away from being done. I just interviewed him. I'm ready to go. My officer's right here. I have a lay witness, Your Honor.
You have a
Lay witness.
Lay
It's
witness.
not just officers. It'll be different with officers. They come back as part of their job. But I have a citizen here who's been sitting out there. So I'm ready to hold.
I understand, I respect that. Mr. Kearney has indicated to the court that he is scheduled to be in 36th district. This matter was scheduled for 1:30. We are calling it at approximately 2:33, and that's not anyone's fault but this court's. We had 6 exams scheduled this afternoon. So how do you wish to proceed?
I wish to go forward.
Requesting an adjournment, Judge.
The case downtown? Is there, I mean, I don't, everyone is grappling with trying to stay on top of their cases and move these live exams through. So I don't know.
It's more than one exam. I have a 3 o'clock and a 3:30.
Well, this isn't surprising to be like an hour behind. It's kind of par for the course.
Is this a quick one?
Unfortunately, Judge, I would estimate it's going to take about.
I can make it really quick. It's up to him.
You estimate that it's going to take an hour to do an exam.
There's a self-defense and a number of hearsay issues that will be. And I intend to use the body worn camera to impeach the complainant if, you know.
To use the body worn camera.
to impeach the complainant should the complainant not acknowledge the point is I can see it taking some time. I mean, Mr. Montgomery's case just took an hour and 10 minutes.
That case didn't actually start on time, and that again was the court's fault.
Understood, but I was
And
here
it had
120.
10 counts.
Mr. Kearney, respectfully, I understand the conundrum that you're in, but 36 does not take precedence over this court, and I understand you have a 3 and a 3:30, but preliminary exams, these live dates are few and far between, and, my apologies for having you late or whatever your issue is with your clients downtown, but if the prosecutor is objecting to an adjournment, this court's ready to proceed. Again, if we adjourn, we wouldn't be back until November 3rd. I don't know if it'd be beneficial for you to speak with the prosecutor, or if this is just a thing where you cannot agree that an adjournment is in order.
I mean, so Ms. Gales is choosing this exam to go over her office's other 2 exams are downtown. There's no way that I'll be able to get down and get those accomplished in time. So she's forcing those prosecutors to not have their exams go.
Well, then if you leave because you overscheduled, then you're forcing me not to go. Somebody's gonna get squeezed out.
And that's fine. If she's electing to be with colleagues instead of her, I'll make those calls and tell them I'm not going to be there.
Then, Mr. Kearney, I'm going to have you do that. We are going to start this exam while you're gone. If Mr. Parker's still here, we'll dispose of his matters quickly. Thank you. And there's still a 2:30. Where did he go? I don't understand why. I don't want you to leave. I thought that he went to go get Mr. Parker, and then we can find out if the Blake 2:30 cases are going. Where's Mr.? Could you call out to the station and ask? Could you? Oh. Jeez. Yeah. Thank you.
Do you want me to put it on your desk? Oh, okay. Thank you.
I told you. I spend all morning.
Holding my post-its up. It's called saving a horse. There's glue under here. And a tree.
If I don't look at her, she'll go away. Right. I saw her going to the movies. I did too. The 12:30. The 12:30 just pushed us. I don't know why when I said, wait a minute. I thought somebody. I saw Buxton just.
Pardon me, Your Honor, Blake is not here.
Parker. Oh, Mr. Blake is not here.
Yeah, that was not here. Everyone, all parties are here for Blake except Blake. Parker is here. Would you like to see him?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll send him in.
Parker. Mr. Parker is Miss Quorum, correct?
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Mr. Parker is Miss Quorum.
Yes.
Yes.
She's not here either.
Thank you. Can't win for losing. Thank you. Sorry. That is not Mr. Parker. Why are you coming back with anybody but who I asked for? Mr. Parker, this is one 194627 FY, State of Michigan versus Leisha Quorum.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
And Detroit by Dave Parker on behalf of Ms. Call, B53832.
This matter was scheduled for a live exam at 2 p.m. It's now 2:41 p.m. by the court's clock. Defendant has failed to appear. Ms. Gillis, how are we proceeding?
Yes, a bench warrant be issued.
Mr. Parker?
No objection.
Capia shall issue. There's another matter. The 192683 was traveling along with it.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too. On the 2:30, everyone's here except Mr. Blake? Is that the story? If Mr. Glenn is here, that's fine. We'll do it quickly. I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. Really? That's not the answer. Mr. Glenn, how are you, sir? This is 210460 and 210473. These are State of Michigan versus James Blake.
William Glenn on behalf of Mr. Blake, P36794.
Mr. Glenn, today was the day and time set for live exams in both of these matters. They were scheduled for 2:30. It's now 2:43 by the court's clock.
Your Honor, my client tried to call me this morning. However, I was in court on Zoom and I couldn't take the call. I left a voice message and then text message. He knew about today's date. I have no excuse for his absence right now.
Ms. Gillis?
I'd ask that the KPs be issued.
Yeah, maybe we have another 15 minutes.
I have another exam to do. You can wait till the end of the exam. It's fine with me. Thank you, sir. That's what I was hoping for anyway. We're here. Hurry, hurry. I know. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Did we start what?
Should I go get Blaze Curry?
Mr. Carney has other matters downtown, and I know that 36, their dates are, I think, a little bit more precious than ours.
So are we gonna do that one or not do that?
I believe that he was trying to see if he could make some connections. Um,
With elsewhere.
I'm just gonna lean on this back. I don't know if it's better to sit or to stand or.
or just adjourn.
I don't mind adjourning.
Get Mr. Carney, please.
But, you know, I don't know. This is my victim's case.
Mr. Foley?
Yes.
Okay. At what time? 12:30. Who is,
Sorry, Jeff, one second. Out here, Ron.
I'm releasing you.
Oh, I'm being released.
Offer my apologies.
Hold on, yeah, one, sorry. So, we're doing these things.
We are not.
We're not.
We're not.
Okay.
That's why I said offer my apologies.
Okay.
This is back on the record in 210320 FY. Mr. Kearney, your attempts to reach the court and your other clients, the court has had time to reflect on this matter. And although the dates for live exams in this court are precious, they're no more precious than what's happening downtown. I know 36 has a backlog as well. And out of respect for those two judges versus this one case here over Ms. Gillis's objection, the court will adjourn the live exam in this matter to November 3rd, 2021 at 12:30 p.m. Mr. Foley,
I want to make sure it's okay with my officer and my. Can you check your calendar? Can you check your calendar?
And I do appreciate that, Judge. These clients have been waiting since January.
I understand, and I offer my apologies to Mr. Foley. Mr. Foley, this is the court's issue, scheduling issue. This is no reflection on the prosecutor's office. This is purely a court scheduling issue.
That's, I'm actually off the week of November 3rd. I work a week and off a week, so that's my day off. Today I had to leave work.
12:30 will be 12:30. If Mr. Kearney has some other scheduling issues, or if this court has some other scheduling issues, we'll be mindful of the fact that you have will now be appearing for a second time. Detective Long is, not Long.
Detective Long is my officer in charge.
Are you available on that date? That's a,
Rubens. You're available November 3rd? My officer in charge.
that's what I thought. That's why I was looking at him.
Okay.
Understand that, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes, thank you, sir. Mr. Tauschek, thank you for appearing this afternoon. We'll see you on November 3rd.
We capious quorum, right?
Huh?
We set a capious report.
I did. Oh, you're not talking to me.
Blake. Oh, Blake. Blake has 2 cases.
He does. Are you new to Van Buren? How new?
I've been there for 5 months now.
Aw. We'll keep him. Why are you standing up? He's just trying to stand taller than Garcia. Is that what it was?
Because he's very polite.
I know, and I think it's cute. I saw pictures of his getting sworn in. I just couldn't remember how long ago they were. I told Mr. Glenn that I would wait to the end of the docket to KP as his client. He hadn't been in any communication with him That's right, that's not true. Mr. Blake called and left him voicemail this morning. They had not been in contact with each other, and Mr. Blake was not arraigned that long ago. I would. Thank you so much, Officer Garcia. I was thinking it and I didn't say it out loud. It is one of those days, and it started off. I didn't think this morning went that bad.
Thank you, officer.
I'm sorry, before you leave, I didn't catch your name. Did you say Rubens? Okay, thank you.
Isn't that funny? We just had a Reuben for that Metro.
BI, I think this one is BE.
Yeah, I've never had him before.
Recalling 210473 and 210460. I have the appearances already. Mr. Glenn, have you been able to make any communication or contact with your client?
I left him another message and I have not heard.
These matters were scheduled for 2:30. It's now 2:51 by the court's clock. Madam Prosecutor.
I ask that bench warrants be issued in both cases, Your Honor.
Based on the defendant's failure to appear for the duly scheduled and noted live exam, CAPE shall issue bench warrant will be 5,000, 10% in both matters. Anything further, Ms. Gillis?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Anything further, Mr. Glenn?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you so very much. We are off the record.
Is that it?
Yes.